1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Out there in Mandolin land, Mike Hedding here, coming to you today with a little instrumental original blues mandolin number I wrote up called the Mandoland Special. I did this as a tribute to Bill Monroe, one of my favorite mandolin players. He had a bunch of early instrumentals that he wrote that were based on the blues form, and they were kind of just a cool showcase for his mandolin playing. And he had 4 of them, I think, and they were all in different keys. He had the Bluegrass Special in A, Bluegrass Stomp, Bluegrass Twist, and Honky Tonk Swing. Check out those instrumentals. They're really cool. A lot of great mandolin playing there. And I wanted to work up just a little original instrumental on the blues form, and I called it the Mandoland Special as a tribute to him. We're going to use all downstrokes and then some tremolo, which is very indicative of this style of mandolin playing. And we're going to use some flatted 7s, kind of adding some bluer notes. And I'll break down, I've got 2 solos for the song. We'll break them all down note for note, exactly how I played it at the beginning. I'll show you my tips, and then I'll also break down some backup, so how to do, some of that might be a review, but how to do 7th chop chords. We'll break that down as well, and how to get that kind of 4 on the floor kind of swing feel that this song uses. All right, let's start breaking down Mandoland Special in the key of A. All right, let's start breaking down this first solo. And remember, for this lesson, other than the tremolo part that we're going to do in the second solo, we're going to use all downstrokes. So you could play with up and down strokes if you wanted to, but to kind of get that classic bluesy bluegrass sound in the style of Bill Monroe, he would use all downstrokes. So I think that helps with the staccato, it helps with the attack, it helps the notes pop out. And it gives it a certain attitude that I don't think you can get with doing up and down picking. So try it both ways, but I'd encourage you to use all downstrokes on this first solo. The other thing we're going to need to do that's good practice is make sure our hand doesn't tense up when we start doing those downstrokes. And lastly, what I would encourage you to do on this lesson is experiment with your right hand placement. A lot of times Bill Monroe would play very close to the bridge on some of these bluesier solos. It would kind of give it a different tone than maybe a sweeter tone up here closer to the neck. So remember that this is your voice, and you can change the tone of the mandolin quite a bit. So I might play it just a little bit more back here, rather than up here. So just play around with that. It's obviously going to be some personal preference to what you like, but I don't see a lot of players move their hand around, and that's something that you want to do a lot of. That's really going to give your playing and your tone more expressiveness, more variation, so certain phrases sound different than others. So just move your right hand around and experiment on this lesson with what kind of tone you're getting. All right, let's jump into the first solo. All right, so with a bluesy song like this, it's going to be a series of phrases. So let's break it down phrase at a time, and then we'll build it up. So let's play the first 3 measures, which will kind of be the pickup into the opening phrase. So we have do it a few times. The other thing I didn't mention that I should have is that this song is going to have more of a bouncy kind of swing feel. I think of it as really hearing all the beats. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 4. Instead of like a 1, 2, 3, 4, more of like a bluegrass 2-4 kind of feel. We're really trying to hear all those beats. So I tap my foot on every beat on a song like this. And I'm also kind of adding a little bit of a bounce or a swing. So Okay, so we're going to start with a little pickup. On beat 2, we're going to use our index finger on the 2nd fret of the D string, and we're going to walk up 2, 4. Remember, using all downstrokes, and then open 2 on the A string, and then a quick 3/4 slide, so sliding through that third, flatted third to the major third, and then open E. So you have 1, 1, and then we're going to play a little response phrase, 2 open on the high E, and then a backslide, 4 to 3, and then 2 open, and then 4, 2. So you kind of go up the notes and then back down pretty much. So you have probably the trickiest part is just not rushing through that slide. Make sure you get plenty of tone out of that slide. And remember, like I said, play with the tone. So I might play it back here, or you can try it up here. Just play around. If I want a lot of attack, I'd play back here. And then open A, kind of like a response. And then 4th fret on the D. And then open A. And then open A again. And then 2nd fret on the D, and then open. And we're just doing a rhythm there. So 1 and 2 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 4 and. So there's just a pause on beat 3, but I'm kind of letting that open A ring out. So you have part, that's measures 2 and 3. You could also take out the slide if you wanted to and play it as picked notes. So put it all together. Looping the measures 2 and 3 and then adding the pickup occasionally. You can't loop it with the pickup because there's a pause on beat 1. So now we have a slightly different phrase as the response. We start it the same way, 2 open on the high E. This is basically the same as measure 2. Except we're just going to pause on beat 4 and do a quarter note. And then go into like an A7 lick, which is going to set up the D chord. So we're going from an A to kind of like an A7 to a D. So the A7 lick is 5th fret on the D string, which is the G note, which is our flatted 7. That's implying that A7. So we play that twice. And then open A, 2nd fret, and then a little pull-off lick, very classic kind of Bill Monroe. So I'm still doing 2 downstrokes, and I'm going. And then open again, and then 5th fret. So you have really snap that pull off and get your hand out of the way. So yeah, so that's just really snap that pull off. I'm pulling back toward my palm there. And if you bend the string, it's kind of easy to pull the string a little bit out of tune, but that's okay. That's kind of part of the sound. So just get your hand out of the way. So you have. And then we're going to go into a D, 4th fret on the D string, which is the 3rd of D, so F sharp. And then I'm bouncing off the A string, so 4 open, and then open again, and then the 3rd fret, which is the flatted 7 of D, so we're applying that C note, which is the flatted 7, open, 4th fret, open. So you have. So we're walking in from that A7 lick. Keep it bouncing. bouncy. Just get that kind of swing sound in your head. Just try and mimic my playing, and then another D lick, open 4 on the D string, and then open 2 on the A, and then that pull off again, and then 4 open. So we have, let's put that D measure together. So we have, so I might kind of do those accents. So I accent here, and then accent here, and then accent on this open D, and then accent the pull off. And then a little response lick. And then chromatic walking up to the E. So we have open A twice, 4th fret on the D, and then A again, 2, 4 on the D, and then walk back down, and then 4, 5, 6, and then we're gonna go up to the high E. And you count that the same way. So 1 and 2 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 4 and I'm doing all downstrokes, so remember it's 1 and 2 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 4 and. So that's just like a little fill lick, pretty much. And right there, I'm doing second finger or middle finger, and then ring finger twice. And then I'm gonna go up to the high E for a little response lick. This is our ending phrase. Open E twice, and then the 5th fret on the A string, which is our flatted 7. Of E, so we're using those flatted 7ths a lot in this song, and that's going to give it that bluesy quality, right? So we're using the flatted 7th on A, so the G. We're using the flatted 7th of D, which is the C, right here. And we're using the flatted 7th of E, D, right here. So see how we're implying those notes? It adds more tension, and it makes it sound bluesier. So we have, and then that 3-2 pull off, but on the high E string this time. So down here is A, or D really, because you can use it for either, and then up here is for E. And then 5-2. So you have, and then like a little ending lick, open E twice, 5th fret, backslide 4-3, 2nd fret, open A. That just gets us back home. It's like straight down the scale pretty much. And I add like a little bit of a rhythm there, so I go. So that whole E lick is. The other thing I do is on that 5 and 2, I cut off the notes, so. A little faster. Part of the biggest trouble I found for playing with downstrokes only is it's easy to tense up and do like a death grip on your pick. Keep your hand loose. So even if you're playing, you basically need to strike the string and then immediately release the tension out of your hand so you don't tense up. So let's play that whole first solo we have. A little fill to get us into the second solo. 2-4 on the D, open A, and then 5-7 slide, which just gets us up into this A chop chord that we're going to use for the second solo. So we have, and then just hit that 7th fret, which is the same A note if you're in tune. All right, let's do that again, the whole solo a little faster. 1. That's the whole first solo. Now let's break down the second solo that we're going to use some tremolo. We're going to play more out of a chord position, kind of keep it Monroe style, keep it bluesy, but play out of a chord shape. I like this comparison of the all downstrokes to the fast tremolo too. It's a nice sound. So let's break that down right now.